and then you see this thing go blue.
Okay, sounds good.
Actually, you see that, and we are live. Wow. Yeah. I got a little sub light here. I don't mind that. I adjusted it right. Jorge. Oh my goodness gracious. So so this is episode 33 of the Musicast podcast. And the feature is the Rippingtons, the band the Rippingtons. But we have a guest host tonight because Will, being so busy as he is, he's in Tampa seeing a concert. And I said, there's he has now he's taking a class. But if you take away the class, people don't know that a class, certification. If you take that away, I said the only valid excuses to not make it is you're either seeing a concert live or it's the football thing, the football coaching thing.
True, and he's a busy guy. He's definitely on his way to Tampa. I think he should be there by now because the concert was, I believe, at 8. But
God, oh
indeed,
yeah,
indeed, he took the chance, like you said. If it's a concert or something else, that's the only excuse you got to not be in the podcast with you.
And I can turn this way up. Oh, this is great. Okay, cool. Now I'll be able to hear way better. Thanks. Do you, he told me what the show was, but he was across. We were in the cube, and he was it was like so and so, so and so. It's
It's indie, so I
yeah,
find it interesting that Will has such a broad taste in music. I didn't know that he likes
yeah.
indie too. I love indie. I think it's a great genre and great
Wow.
music. So I guess he and he's going with Braden. They're gonna have a blast today
Oh
watching
my gosh.
that live concert.
You know they will. You know they will. Um, oh my gosh. So anyway, folks, introduction, episode 33, the Rippingtons and guest Jorge from work. Jorge, um, so in previous podcasts, you are one of the main guys that are listening and commenting. But and so Jorge is a coworker, a fellow SE system engineer, and you want to say anything? Introduce yourself in some fashion.
Well, yeah, I'm so happy to be here now, co-hosting with you. I mean, I've been here since the episode first, having fun with you,
Wow.
Will, Joey, the
Yeah.
the invitees you'd had.
Yeah.
Really fun stuff. Learning about bands that I didn't know of.
Mm.
Hearing dudes play guitar or
Pete. Yeah.
conversations that are really nice. So I think, and even today with the Rippingtons, I know I learned about them yesterday, and oh my god, I haven't stopped listening to them. Such great music. So I think it's going to be a great conversation today for both of us and our viewers.
Wow. Super cool. So here's what occurred. Yesterday at noon. And I don't try to uh, put any pressure on Will because he's quite busy. And so Tuesday I said, hey, we'll talk about it tomorrow. So yesterday, Wednesday at lunch, I said, hey, can you do tonight? And because I knew Thursday night, he told me Thursday night he was going to the show that he's at right now. And he said, I can't because he's trying to cross the finish line on that certification class he's doing. And he said, I can't. And I'm like, wow, okay, totally cool, man. And of course, then I turn around and I go, what the fuck am I gonna do? It's supposed to be tonight, which was yesterday, Wednesday night, and this is how it played out. And I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I am messaged on Facebook, Diane Ryder, the keyboardist for our jazz band back in those days, of when we were involved with listening to the Rivingtons, and then ended up opening for a few of those guys in a side band. Um, I so I am Diana, and I said, hey, and she was probably working, so she never saw it. And so now it's 4 o'clock, and I'm going, okay, I could cancel it all together or whatnot. And about it was like 4:30 in the hallway yesterday. I see Jorge, I see you, and I'm like, I walk, I walk up to you and I go, Jorge, can you do the podcast tonight? And he didn't even know what the subject was. He goes, dude, it was so great. You look at me and you're like, not tonight. I don't know anything about it.
Right, right.
Yeah. So fast forward, we said, let's do it tomorrow night, and in the meantime, check this band out. So Jorge has gotten the it's not a privilege, but he got the insight into this band, the Ripingtons, who he had never heard before in his life. Yeah. And so you said, hey, let's do it tomorrow. So here we are, and we're doing it. And Jorge, true to his form, was listening and studied up on these guys.
Yeah, and I think it's a great band. I didn't know what I was gonna find when I started listening to them, but oh my God, Phil, I think this was the best door I've ever opened in music, and it's contemporary jazz. It's like sitting down at a Michelin star restaurant, listening to the music that they play over there, or on a soundtrack for a great movie, or and you can listen to it any kind of mood, sad, happy, on a road trip. It's good music, and it kind of reminded me of Kenny G, and my dad told me about Kenny G. And funny enough, I think it was today that we were talking about the Ripingtons, and we found out that Kenny G at some point played with the band for a short stint.
For like 1 year. Yeah, you showed it at the end there today. Right. Yeah, an amazing. So I have the second. If you bear with me,
sure. Go on.
In a perfect world, I will find the cable I disconnected. Oh, it's the cable I disconnected to. Oh, that's why. Okay, I'm gonna plug that cable back in, and the reason I wasn't hearing you is because the little speakers. But I have these Harman Kardon like laptop speakers, desktop speakers. But I used it for the first time last episode, and boy, it changes everything for me. Cool. Oh my gosh! So give me 1 second. Let me just plug these in, and we'll really get down to it. It's still the introduction. Show your shirt. We had that in the past.
Style.
It's a story for another day. I got tickets for September, and I'll be talking about that later.
That's a whole new episode too.
Yeah. So you get to tell us anything about you want, or not, or pick a topic or a color and talk about it.
A color to talk about. I'd rather talk about my music interest, and why I think the Ripingtons are a cool band. And I think for context, when I met Phil at the job, I learned he was a drummer during his high school years and college. And I think you still play, right, Phil?
I do.
So it's difficult to be sitting all day doing our jobs without talking about other topics. And I think music has been one of those topics that we usually chat about.
Yeah.
I played trumpet when I was young in elementary school. So I learned how to read music and play some songs like probably things that orchestras play in auditoriums and cool places. But music has always been interesting, and that's why I've been a viewer of the podcast since episode 1.
Wow.
But oh my God, again, discovering the Rippingtons has been a great thing to learn about. It's just very cool music, and I think that overall the episode will be so cool to discuss their career and how you learned about them. And I heard that you were able to meet a few of the folks that were or are part of the band still. So that's very good to listen about and hear your stories about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Goodness gracious. So a great introduction to the thing. That was the intro. I do have to refer to my note sheets and all this stuff, which you have the main body of. Yeah, all of the above. You played trumpet, dabbled in the orchestra for school days. Super cool. And I do still drum, but it's on sporadic occasions.
Yeah.
So Jorge, I will go on record with this. In December, I will have a house party, and you were invited, of course. And we play, and I'll get Pete over, and we have a core band.
Yeah, that would be super cool.
And we just jam. And the main room, when you open the doors, it's 9 foot. It's not a big house, but it's this room where it's like 9 foot ceilings and wood floors. And if you get people in there, it sounds like a small little club.
Right. It's good for the acoustics. Yeah.
It really is. Shout outs. There's a thing. We'll do shout outs first. So that was the introduction. And now I'll do shout outs before the shoot the shit section. The page. So the page, you have the same page, but
I do. I have it here. Yeah, I do.
I got a couple of ads there with the Post-its.
Oh, I don't have the Post-its.
That's okay. The shout outs. I have to, and I do this every 3 or so episodes of the people that have supported the show and or the podcast. And it turns out, so right now it says 3 people are watching, but it turns out there's others watching. But and then they likely might not comment, and there may be a feature that says I don't want to be recognized. I just want to
yeah.
But over the months through episode 33, it's the shout outs. And the first shout out goes out to the band Chemistry, my jazz band. It wasn't mine. It was Robert Galligan's contemporary jazz band in the 90s when we were all experiencing this music. It's Leo Childs. So shout out to Leo, California. Robert Galligan, the band leader who resides in Melbourne, Florida. Diana, and actually I'll stop and not use their last names. We try Will's sake, we used to joke about that. You've seen
their identities, right?
Yeah. No PII. You don't want to give out information, right? Like that street addresses and but Leo, Robert, Diana, Tony. But Tony, I'll give his last name, Tony Wynn. Tony Wynn, the sax player in our band Chemistry, he's playing to this day. He's at the Blind Lion in Cocoa Village. He plays. They hire him oftentimes in the malls over in Orlando.
Oh, cool.
Like, it has a big courtyard thing, like the
Yeah.
Millennium shit. Him and his friend, the trumpet friend, they get out there and they do very well. And he's playing almost every weekend.
I think any band that's good should have a good saxophone player. I think it's one of the best, prettiest instruments to hear.
Yeah.
The melody and the tunes that it plays. It's really good instrument.
Absolutely. Do you have anything to drink or to plug? What are you sipping on?
I have beer.
Ah, a little cerveza.
Cheers. Yeah.
Cerveza.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's the whole band. It was Tony, Diana, Robert, Leo, and myself. We were 5-piece. So that's that. Shout out to Kim in Sanford. She has been a frequent viewer of the show, chimes in with the comments, and it's great banter. And I love Kim and Sanford, and going back to race days, and she knows who she is, and we love her. Shout out to Kenny Hines. So we'll have a new. So folks, I'm full screen now, so I can't see comments. So Jorge, if you do see comments, I'm going to click on them right now, and then as we go on, if you see any, let me know. I'll no shit. What the hell? Something just took over the right side of my screen, like a MSN dog shit thing. Oh god, no. Hang on. I'm losing my screen. MSN just took over my fucking platform here. God, I hate that. Think I can get it back. Close call. That I'm not bad mouthing, but anyway, I'm gonna go. Here's the first post comment. Yo, peeps. Now, in a total pro environment, I would have like a guy on the side, like a producer guy. I don't know if they call them producers, but Tim on the Hinchcliffe and Rossi Off Track podcast. They've got a guy that, and a lot of the pro platforms have a guy that's dealing with all the madness, and listen to comments and chimes in and goes, "Hey, so and so just wrote."
True, yeah. A producer elevates the game, but it's not as easy as it seems to produce it and be also live
at the same time. There you go. Here's the first comment. Boom. There you go. Okay. We got that. We have 4 observers. We have 4. Thank you. Thanks for people and plus. So let me go back to the shout outs. Kenny Hines. So Kenny and I worked together, Jorge, back in the shuttle days. He was a quality engineer. And we recently been in touch. And we, back in 2005, I shared these stories with him. And so he's into kind of hearing it again. And we talked on the phone yesterday, actually. All my relatives in Indiana and Illinois, all my aunts, wonderful aunts and cousins. Heidi is a cousin, and Ellen, Uncle Terry and Aunt Marlene. They've chimed in over the months. I don't want to leave anybody out. Penny, Aunt Penny, and all of them. And there's cousins that probably have, I'll send.
It's a big list. Shout out to them all, right?
Yeah, all of them. I got those, and Don Franklin, and Ellen, of course, but Don and his wonderful wife, and now they have kids, so they're like
extended family.
I'm like Uncle Phil,
right?
Yeah. we went up there. But I went up there about 3 years ago and saw all of them. And man, what a great time that was. Um, and all the cousins. Okay. Oh, and then the work people, Alan Lloyd, and anybody at work, Alan Lloyd, and of course all you guys. You get plugged regularly. Dear friend Mitch Hines from Seattle and his wonderful wife. Um, I was on the phone with Mitch earlier today, so I get home, and then I had a chill period, and Mitch called. Yeah, I called him back, and Mitch and I talked for like 40 minutes, and it was like a nice downtime period. But Mitch has been a big supporter all along. And then work people, Jorge. I don't know who Jorge is. I'm joking. Pete always calls it the wrong time.
Who's that guy, right?
Pete always, Pete Martin, get him shout out to Pete Martin. He's calling right now, but I can't answer it. He's working on a song for me for the Rippingtons. I gave him an assignment to explain a particular song, and we talked earlier, but I can't answer it, so he'll know. Jorge, Braden, Natalie, Alan, Lloyd, of course,
Will,
Joey, and Senior Joey. My gosh, at the center of it all, and brother Will, who's at a concert. And a shout out to, I think are listening, or have my race buddies, Tommy and George, and then of course Joe Gretzky, Sean, Scott, Kim, and Park. That race brigade. I don't think I'm leaving anybody out, but that was the shout outs. Holy crap. God damn, that took forever.
Shout out to them all. Now let's shoot the shit, right?
We're up to 5, and this is great. The story over the months, we've never broken. We broke 7. 7 was, I think, the most of the number I see. So we're up to 5, which is fantastic. It's amazing. It's probably because of your charisma.
Well, I shared the link. I hope some people join.
Oh, cool. To friends, people, family. Cool. Okay. All right. We've got that out of the way. So the reason I did the Rippingtons today, and it was Spotify, right? Yeah. So the reason we're doing this today in this particular band, Spotify, I've had for 14 years now. And of course, the algorithms get really good about what I like. Rippingtons popped up 2 weeks ago. I'm driving home from work, and I'm like, oh man, I haven't listened to them in probably 15 or 20 years. So the Rips popped up, and I'm like, oh crap. So I hear a song, and I'm like, oh man. And then of course I digress, and it just took me back into the 90s, 95 time frame when all this was happening. And since then, I and that weekend I said I'm going to do a show on the Rippingtons. So that's why we're doing it. And it happens often, whether it's Spotify or Facebook. Facebook, oftentimes shit pops up, and it gives me the lead. I've been on episode 33. Picture like 6 months ago or whatever. I'd be like on the weekend going, what am I going to do next? And so I'm on Facebook, and something will pop up, and I'll go, holy shit, that's perfect. You just, hey, Jorge, we're up to 7. Thank you very much.
That's good, right? But I mean, Phil, I think Spotify was right in the point. I mean, the Rippingtons, such a great band. It
Yeah.
feels like a transition from the 80s. And just like we were talking today, and
Wow.
I guess we'll talk more about it. Really good contemporary jazz in the 90s. It's that transition from the 80s that I think was the best decade in terms of music, but
Cool.
they kept such good melodies and rhythm, the saxophone, the drums. I think it's great music, and I think it's not a coincidence that we're talking about it today, and you had the opportunity to listen to them again after 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's how it happened. On the comments are picking up. Um, Pete's Pete said hi to Mitch. Hi, both. Exactly. So then I just relived the whole experience from the '90s there when we were in the jazz band and listening to the rips, and so and that of course will be um, dissected and looked at detail in the feature. But going back to shoot the shit section, soccer guys, Drake, that's not relevant if Joey's not on. Rips popped up on Spotify. That's why we're doing this today. Here's an unrelated. Well, I have to mention this. The shoot the shit is about anything you want to talk about that you've done recently, or you have done, or it's also a section where somebody passed away these days. There's producers and performers and musicians that have passed away, but this is not a passed away thing. This is a good thing. Um,
Well, and today actually passed away. I forgot.
wow, because it happens frequently now.
Yeah, it was a famous singer of hold on, let me find that out, Phil. My bad. It's not bad to reminiscence.
You look for that.
I will. Okay, Bonnie Tyler died. I think it was today or yesterday. Bonnie Tyler.
Bonnie Tyler. I remember that name.
Well, she's at least I know her for Total Eclipse of the Heart. Great song.
Oh yeah.
Yes, she passed away at 75. I think it was last night.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, this is exactly for this. I remember the Total Eclipse of the Heart, and when you heard that song, I thought it was the band. I thought it was another band. I'm not gonna. That's a pretty. People would know the name. Older people would know the name, but But that was a great song.
Yeah,
And
that's a classic.
Yeah, she got radio play. I want to say in the '80s, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And funny enough, that song has also been sang in Spanish. Very popular song.
Wow.
Basically a translation. So it's difficult not to remember that song, and well, God rest her soul.
Wow. Here's to Bonnie Tyler. Bless her heart.
Hey Phil, I see Peter commenting if he's gonna receive a link, so I'm not sure if he's part of.
Oh, Pete's always chomping at the bit to get on, so Pete, you're probably listening. We can bring you in, but we can't until the feature. We can't talk about the song that he was gracious enough to lend insight into one of the Ripperton songs that I called him on the way home. I said, Pete, what makes this song so beautiful? It's melodically, it's just like unbelievably beautiful. What makes it beautiful? Like harmonically, kind of from the music theory aspect. And he'll explain that. And we'll bring him in.
Yeah, I think, and I hope, and I guess he'll explain very well, but I really love the melodies, the different instruments, how smooth the music is, the melody. It's really a good music. Really, really good stuff. And I think the members of the band, the names there show how good it was. And we were speaking about it today. There was Kenny G, there was Russ Freeman,
Yeah.
Jeff Kashiwa. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
So it was packed of great artists. Tony Morales, that you're gonna talk about him later on.
Oh my gosh. The drummer for the Rips. Oh my god.
Yeah, and we learned. I think it was today or yesterday that he also does soundtracks. He's a actor. He does a few traits in the industry, so it's very interesting how this folks.
Yeah.
Probably they're pioneers in the contemporary jazz genre, and I bet they are.
Yeah. Yes. So we're up to 8 viewers, and to my recollection, if you had the bell, you ring the bell.
You ring the bell, right?
It'd be ringing the bell. 8 viewers, and there's probably others, but that's the biggest number I've seen so far. So Jorge, thank you, and the Rips I think had a little bit to do that. I really tried to reach out and promote the thing on Facebook and stuff, and I called Kenny. So Mr. Kenny Hines is on. Mr. Kenny Hines. I worked with Kenny. He was a quality engineer back in 2005 timeframe, and way before that. But so Kenny's on, and he loved the contemporary jazz stuff, and he and I talked in those days about the stuff. He had heard some of these stories, and he's anxious to hear them again. We talked yesterday at length. And
and Phil, sidebar, Dad joined in and he mentioned Michael Bolton, and I'll tell him, hey, that's a different episode, but glad you're joining in. He told me about Kenny G, so I think that's why I can relate so much with Rippington. So Dad, happy to see you here. I think that's a different episode, but definitely the Rippingtons. It's today's topic. So how did you learn about them, Phil? Were you able to watch them perform live?
So what occurred was, I think we're probably done. Yeah, I can leave the Eric thing for next week. That's no big deal. We'll go into the feature and kind of ease into this. Jorge, let me preface this whole thing with, you've seen us before. Probably sooner than later, I take a little boys break to hit the restroom. So that'll be coming shortly. Then you get to figure out what you're gonna talk about while I'm gone.
Hell no, that'll be a break for both of us. It's a pause. I wasn't prepared for that.
Hey, that's when we bring Pete in. And
right, that's a good idea.
Guitar,
right? And I'll refill my beer.
Pete, that's a new concept. When we take a break, you just come in with like playing the guitar.
Right, that's a good idea.
Music break, but we'll need that, and I'll need it sooner than later. Believe me. But anyway, we got Pete, we got Mitch, this is great. Kenny Hines, Kenny, thanks for joining. This is super cool. I got introduced to the Rippingtons in late 94. I auditioned and joined a band named Chemistry in Brevard County. Robert Galligan was the band leader, and I got the opportunity through Leo Childs, who was a pneumatic engineer at work. And I went to Leo, and we were working together, and he goes, I play bass. And I say, I play drums. And he goes, we're looking for a drummer right now. And I auditioned and got the gig. They took a chance because I was really a hacky classic rock drummer. And so I joined the band, and life kind of took off. It was really neat. And it was really, really special, really neat. And it really challenged me as a player. I was really binging and studying the cassette tape they had given me for the audition, and and um, so anyway, I'm with him, and he's like, "All right, the first gig's the Yacht Club in Melbourne." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So that was our first, that was our first gig, and then to get so, but it turns out, and Diana, shout out to Diana, um, the keyboardist in the band, the only female in the band is Diana, and she knew Roland Giarto, who completely. He had a record store in Rockledge on Barton back in the early '90s, and for a long time he had that record store. She was friends with Roland, and Roland started this thing called the Brevard Jazz Series, which were he was going to bring A circuit type jazz bands to Brevard and play and like put on concerts. That expanded to Roland going to Pleasure Island at Disney.
Oh,
There's
right. Yeah. Back in the day.
Back in the day, it was Pleasure Island. What is now
Part of
Disney Springs. Disney
Yeah.
Springs was Pleasure Island. They had a jazz club, and
Wow.
so pretty significant bands. It wouldn't have been like Miles Davis and it wouldn't have been Basie and Miles Davis going through there, and the relics of the books that carry on for the big bands. But all the popular people, and that's when smooth. There's a version of this called smooth jazz, and I was never a smooth jazz guy. I was a contemporary jazz guy,
right?
And then fusion jazz. But anyway, regardless, Roland goes over to Pleasure Island to the jazz. I think it was called the Jazz Company, but I went there once and saw Dave Gohan. Oh my God, that's not even on the sheets. I can't go there because that was super cool. But
Pleasure Island Jazz Company, Phil.
Yeah, Pleasure Island Jazz Company. And so Roland goes over there and says, "Hey, if any of these artists want to come to Brevard and hang out at the beach, I can put on a concert. I'll do a promote a concert for them." And a bunch of them did it. And they would come over and if hopefully they had a couple days off after the show.
Who doesn't love the beach?
To the show at Disney, and they would come over and sometimes they had their families and stuff, and they would check into hotels back then in the '90s, and then they would go do the Roland show, Brevard Jazz Series. Well, Diane knew Roland sufficiently. We were in the rotation to open for some of these bands. There were three bands that I recall back then that were doing these openers. It was Demas Sanchez and his killer fucking wicked band. They were the best. Jeff Simpson is a big name in jazz, and his dad had a jazz radio show in Brevard for many years, going back to the '80s and probably '70s. So Jeff Simpson's band, Demas's band, and then our band, Chemistry, because Diane knew Roland. So we got in this rotation of being able to get the opportunity to open for these bands that would come from Orlando
to Brevard.
To Brevard. And so one of the bands was Steve Reed and Bamboo Forest. Their name was Steve Reed and Bamboo Forest was the band. Never heard of them. However, we realized quickly that this really is the core rhythm section of
the Rippingtons
and the sax player for the Rippingtons.
Right.
Right. And so I'm jumping into the deep end here, but backing up a little bit, when I was in chemistry, Robert. So we were all, when we were playing together and rehearsing, we would rehearse in my living room in Port St. John. That's where we rehearsed. They all drove up from wherever they were and drove up, and because I was single and I fucking sky's the limit. Zach was with me. Zach, it was me and Zach. Just me and my son, and they would come up, and I turned my living room into a fucking rehearsal hall basically, and for a better part of a year, it was really fun. And so instantly, I'm learning this whole world of jazz. And have you heard of these guys? Have you heard of the Brecker Brothers? Have you heard Leo has his stuff, and Robert has his stuff, and so Robert's like, um, the Rippingtons, Curves Ahead. It was their first album was Curves Ahead, and Robert's like, the Rippingtons. My God, you got to listen to them. So the next thing you know, I'm binging on the Rippingtons, and that was my introduction to the band when I was early years with the band.
Chemistry. So that was around 95.
Yeah. It was 95.
So you got to meet the Bamboo Forest guys because you opened their show at Rivard in, was it 95 too?
It would have been 95. Yes. So yeah. So the whole thing clicked, and we were in and mind you, that's a story for the chemistry days, or the chemistry show. But so Roland gets a hold of Diana and says, "Hey, this band Bamboo Forest is coming, and would you guys open?" And her and Robert agreed. They were kind of co-leaders of the band, and they said sure. And we didn't know who they were. And then but then I get Steve Reed's CD before we opened for him, and we, in between talking with the five of us, we go, holy shit, this is really the Rippingtons band minus Russ Freeman and Tony Morales, the drummer.
Right.
And we're like, oh my God, this is insane. So the gig, we're cruising along. We're at 42 minutes. I have to say, we'll have to take a breather here, Jorge. I've never jumped headfirst into the feature in 42 minutes. So
okay, yeah, it's almost 43 minutes.
So I think you're helping move this along.
No, don't do that, Phil. Come on, let's add Pete and let's bring Pete in.
There's so much. But you're right, because we have so much material on them. Here's the sheet on the drummer, Tony Morales. I started with just the one pager, and then it became.
You added more stuff.
It grew. Just Tony, the drummer. My goodness gracious! So this is perfect. But however, with this said, we're gonna get back into it. I have to, when I talk a ton, I do have to catch my breath and see what's going on.
Send the link to Pete, Phil. He's asking for
link. Pete, I'll send you a link, but I'm not gonna bring you in, and I won't leave you hanging. But we're not ready to explain the song, but I can't wait to explain the song. It's gonna be great. The dilemma was my Facebook, my Gmail. It was seemingly non-existent here, and it made me want to. It was asking me to log back in with my Google password, and that's across the room. I haven't looked at that in a year, so I wasn't willing to try to re-log into Gmail to get Gmail up. So I can't send it to you, and I don't want to type it again. Hey, Jorge, can you send it to him? You know,
Yeah, I think I can.
if you could send it to him, it'd be great. And just or drop it in the chat. Well, drop it in the chat, and it doesn't matter who joins. I can choose who come. Who I
Okay, sounds good.
so,
Yeah,
drop it
Fit,
in
I'll
the
send you
chat.
in a
Like 10
second.
people.
Hold on.
And that's fine, but they won't jump in on mine.
That will be crazy having
Doing it
other folks
like
joining
free
in.
for all. Free for all.
I just sent it to you, Pete. Let me know when you're in so I can erase it from the comment section.
All the listeners like just join in 7 and 8. This is the most viewers, Jorge. I think it's the subject matter the rips.
I got a few friends texting me that they're in, so
oh my gosh.
maybe that's it, Phil.
Wow. Your people came through because typically they do not.
We gotta keep bringing content. I hope
my experience
guitar.
My experience with Will and Joey in the best hopes, but not to sideline the coworkers, Natalie and Braden at the early stages, and
Also join in. True.
Like yourself, they were true troopers in the early stages there, and they really enjoyed that, and boy, it's much appreciated. Yeah, so we're downshifting a little bit, and we'll get back in. Believe me, we'll get back into the rips, and we'll tell these stories. Got some cool stories.
Phil, check in to see if you can see Pitt trying to join us.
It'll take him a few seconds here, but he'll show up. And this is where I depart to take my little quick break.
Well, both of us. I'm going to take a 2-minute break too, Phil.
Okay. So he's going to do 2 minutes. I will not be gone 2 minutes. It'll take me, I got about the 20 feet to go to and come back. So mine will be like a minute.
We'll be right back, folks. Don't leave. Don't leave us yet.
Jorge, this is a first. It's never been the occasion where there's been nobody on and two cameras running with nobody on. Let's experiment. This is fun as shit. But anyway, folks, all kinds of cool stuff's coming up. So believe me, it's really cool. Hang out, get a beverage.
Refill time, yeah. Let's go.
I understand that, Pete, but I don't have Gmail right now, and so I'm having a problem. Pete, I'll send it to you. Let me. I'm gonna take a quick break.
But I put it in the chat. He should be able to see it.
I
just don't know.
Aldi Meola. Who is Oh, look at this. Nurmlinger. It might be.
Yep.
I saw the Rivingtons at the King Center with Aldi Meola in 1997. It's probably Kenny, but it might not be. You don't have to identify yourself, but oh my goodness gracious. A, you saw the Rips in 97, and B, you saw fucking Aldi Meola. Holy shit.
Right.
Aldi Meola was the guitarist for Return to Forever, or one of those major. I think he was the guitarist. No, John McLaughlin was the guitarist in Return to Forever. DiMeola was in the other band, and this goes back to the 70s. Nurmlinger, please, if you know, DiMeola was the lead guitarist for. I keep thinking, but it was definitely John McLaughlin with John McLaughlin was the Mahavishnu Orchestra. It was Al Di Meola for Return to Forever. So I'm right. Okay. My memory serves me correctly. Wow. Hey, tell us what that was. Yeah. Tell us what that was like. Yeah. Return to Forever. So right now we're going to go on the comments. I want to hear how DiMeola, what you thought of DiMeola in his show. And he had to have some kick-ass fucking band. So Jorge, these are fusion guys. This is all fusion stuff. And fusion means fusion between rock and jazz. There's no
Right.
vocals.
Yeah, I gotta dig into that too.
That'll come. We'll talk about that. But it is the best guitarists on the planet, without a doubt, without a doubt. And typically, they have the best bass players and drummers with them. This is really but we will talk about that. Okay, I'm gonna run. All right, peace. Keep talking or comment. Okay, I'm back. All right. I knew that wouldn't take long. All right, goes back, and we still have viewers. All right, cool. I think I have. Yeah, cool. All right, folks. Sorry about a little breakage. This is a great discussion. Wow. Deal. Good stuff. You got stars. Oh yeah, Demiola, Al Demiola. Holy crap! I've I forget what I got a Demiola CD years ago, back probably late '90s or mid '90s. Gosh, Al Demiola. So I've caught an interview in the last couple of years, and it wasn't Rick Beato, but it was somebody sitting down with him, and they were in a studio, and he's sitting there, likely had a guitar in his hand, but he was getting interviewed. Really surprised me. I was like blown away. So I'm thinking this guy's like Brazil, like from fucking Sao Paulo, full on like Latin, blistering, legend, Return to Forever. And I realized when the guy's talking to him, guy's from fucking New York, fucking New York, but with a big Latin heritage, for sure, a South American heritage. And that interview was great. It's been a while, but cool. All right, very neat. Great stuff on Al Demiola. We did a little segue to Al Demiola there. That's a show for another. That's an episode for another. Wow, God, I'm getting tripped up.
Another topic for a new episode.
There you go. Thank you. So what occurred? Fusion music was born in the academics will tell you it started in the mid 60s, and certainly Miles and the Miles Quintet, and then, but bottom line, Miles did Bitches Brew in '69, and the outcome of the Bitches Brew sessions were four of the of the first fusion bands that started making records that became mainstream. Mainstream is not a good word. And it was Weather Report, it was Return to Forever, it was Mahavishnu Orchestra, and it was the Chick Corea. Uh, Actually, Chick Corea is in one of those bands. There was a fourth that I can't think of, but that's how fusion music was born from the Miles Davis Bitches Brew sessions. I'm going to do a whole show on that for sure, and some detail and all that. But anyway, and by as we digress, your co-host can email. Pete will send you the thing, and we're carrying on with the episode. So I think Jorge, we left off where. How did I get exposed to them, and then how did we open for Bamboo Forest? I think is where I thought, which are three of
Right,
them.
right.
Yeah.
And then you opened for Bamboo Forest. What else happened? Did you meet them? Did you talk to them?
Yes. Yeah. Let me send Pete this. It's on my phone. An event. Well, so as we're doing this, so folks, everybody go like, why don't you play a song? Right? There's got to be viewers going, why don't you play a song for us? So turns out with copyright rules, you can't play their music. I've had 3 episodes blocked because I played ACDC and I played Fleetwood Mac and I played somebody else, and the episode gets blocked because the people that own the publishing rights to the songs, um, they have a deal with YouTube, rightfully so, that you can't just use it indiscriminately and just play it. Um, we won't go into that, but that's why I can't play their music. But bottom line, the message again is just listen to the Rippingtons live in LA. It's a live album. It's the best one. It's the only one I listen to anymore. And Jorge was listening to it earlier today.
I listened to that album. Also, I did Welcome to St. James.
Welcome to St. James Club or St. James Street. Yeah, it's one of the two. Yeah. So here at least we can do is show the band. This is something I printed out, I think yesterday. This is the Rippingtons back in 1995, when I was kind of associated with them, as far as exposed, and we got to do this opener thing. And I do have the guys pointed out. I'm not expecting people to be able to see the labels of the players, but
Well, there's Kim Stone, Jeff Kashiwa, and
Jeff
Kashua, sorry, and Steve Reed.
Reed. Steve
So
Reed.
those were the 3 guys that were part of Bamboo Forest.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to launch into that. Let me. Basically my phone is buried. Pete, you don't understand the shit I go through. I got papers in my phone I can't even see. So he's thinking like, just add me, dude. And I'm like, I can't even see my fucking phone.
Phil, I just sent you the link. Maybe you can copy that exactly and send it to Pete on our message, on our text messages.
Okay. Cool.
Just copy that and send it to Pete.
Yeah, well, I don't see it. So, here, I'll just type it in. Pete, this is a pain in the ass, dude, but I appreciate what you're trying to do. Bear with me, folks. It's a HTML address here. They're typing in. That's got to be correct. Hang on. You would think we would be way beyond this, but Gmail honestly has been letting me down lately, and I don't know what to say about it, but I may change after many freaking years. I may change that because it has let me down more than once. Close. 2 more digits. Let's see. Oh. Okay. I think I sent the email address, even though it's not showing up. So I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying. Pete, that's the best I can do, dude. So anyway, you saw the band. So okay, we'll get back into it. Sorry for the crazy, but you do have to kind of take a break. Ah, cool. He's there. Cool. So getting back to the story, Diana was affiliated in new Roland Giarto Brevard Jazz Series. Bamboo Forest, this band Bamboo Forest comes and we say, Robert and Diana say, hey, yeah, we'll do the gig. So next thing I know, we're opening, and it was on a weekend. We were gonna open for them. We opened for them Saturday, and then they were gonna do a matinee on Sunday by themselves. And we learned that here, let me do this. I don't have a pointer. I used to have a cool pointer. I actually have a real cool pointer. Look at this. So I got this. Just don't knock that out. Oh, that would just be the end of it all. So in Bamboo Forest, it was Steve Reed and Bamboo Forest. So it was Steve Reed, and Steve Reed and Bamboo Forest. And in Steve Reed's band was Jeff Koshua, the sax player for the Rivingtons, and Kim Stone, the bass player for the Rivingtons. And just to show the rest of the folks, the Rivingtons consisted of Russ Freeman, the band leader, and got all the publishing rights and most of the royalties for everything they did. And Tony Morales, the killer drummer, who we're going to cover later, because I got a whole sheet on him because I just thought he was incredible. But anyway, Steve Reed, Joshua, Stone are in Bamboo. So we opened, and on a Saturday, and it went really well. It was really fun. It was we were stressed out because it was a big deal for us. And but the band, we met him beforehand because I had to talk to the drummer. The drummer is Roger Friend, a guy named Roger Friend, and I have a special feature thing here, Jorge, that's gonna kind of freak you out. All the members of the Bamboo Forest band signed this China symbol that I retired, and it's over here to my left. And I'm going to grab it here in a second, but he signed it when we went back for the matinee on Sunday. But so we met him ahead of time, and I have to use. I'm the only guy that has to use the instrument. So I had to use his drums because he had them set up. Turns out the guy's like 6'3", and he's this giant guy. And I'm 5'10", so 6'3" drummer has a reach that's like
right.
Immense. I'm 5'10", so we got to meet way ahead of time before anybody even came in the place. I said, Roger, I just can't believe I'm talking to you, and this is such a fucking, just it's just amazing just to be able to talk to a professional drummer, but I'm gonna have to move I'm gonna have to move the cymbals in because I can't fucking reach those things. Just do it, man. Do it. He said, you can move anything you want as long as it's not anchored, anchored to the floor. So these guys are so powerful at a professional level. Their kick drums, and I learned this from Park Hill, my friend in Orlando, who's played a fucking ton. Um, their kick drums, they'll fix them to the floor with like it can be a variety of of shit you might buy at the hardware store, where they'll just take little U bolts and pound and just tap them with a hammer, and the two main front feet for the kick drum, they'll hammer them into the wood on the floor just to secure them because they can start going and that shit moves forward.
Right, it
And
moves. Yeah,
I've
seen
experienced that myself. And so he said, if it's not bolted down, you can move
You can
anything
move it around. But who was playing the drums for Bamboo Forest?
This guy talking about Roger Friend.
It was Roger Friend. Okay.
His name is Roger Friend. Turns out, and so now I got to grab the cymbal. Turns out he had drummed for ABBA.
What?
He was so in ABBA's later career, he was the fucking drummer for ABBA.
What the hell?
I swear to God. And he's telling me. He told us all, and then we partied with him, and he told the story again. That was amazing.
You gotta show that to us.
Yeah. So this is Roger. This was his, and they really did a great job with going all out because they knew I was all about it. And again, they did this Sunday for the matinee when we went back, and I brought this cymbal. I never really. It's a beautiful cymbal. It's a Zildjian 18-inch China, but I just never liked the sound, and probably too big for me. But regardless, it's a wonderful cymbal, but I just never liked it. But so he writes, I don't know. Tell me when you can see it without.
I can see Keem Stones.
Yeah. Oh, that's
a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Keem Stones is on top.
Here's Rogers.
That's Rogers. Cool. That's insane.
And it says to Phil, life
is a groove.
Life is a groove. Roger Friend, and he drew a snare drum.
That's cool.
Roger Friend. He had played with ABBA. ABBA, however you pronounce it. The wonderful freaking insane band, that we're all familiar with. So anyway, so I'll show the other ones after. And Jeff Koshawa, the sax player, and that you heard today live in LA. Jeff Koshawa. So Jeff had a solo career. He did CDs as a solo artist with the big band. Chances are a couple of these guys probably were in Jeff Koshawa's band when he was recording and did those CDs. It was all happening in the 90s. It was 95, 96, 97, 98. It was all like 94 to 2000, really, that those guys kept making music. And then they kept making music beyond that. And I lost track and I got back into rock. And, so it was Jeff Koshawa and Kim Stone, the bass player. And so
you opened for them on Sunday too, or just on Saturday?
Just on Saturday.
Okay. But you met them again on Sunday. That's when they signed the plate.
Yes. So so we opened. It went great, and they played and they blew everybody away. It was sold out. It was at the old Players Lounge, which is on US 1 near the water tower. It was a club, and it had been different things over the years, and it was called the Players Lounge at the time. And it was a neat, super cool club, first floor, and they had a little balcony, and the place probably held 250 people, maybe 300. and it was sold out Saturday. So here we're opening for this fucking insane band that's going to come on after us with this sold out fucking crowd and pretty much digging everything we're doing,
Right.
like as a teaser. And Robert's again show should be on the chemistry. It will be on the chemistry episode. Our guitarist and band leader, he would arrange songs. He could take a song and rearrange it and make something really cool out of it. But most of them we played straight ahead as far as like trying to duplicate Norman Brown. We were doing like Norman Brown. We did a Norman Brown song. We did Bobby Caldwell, "Do for Love." That's where Robert did his magic and rearranged it. George Benson kind of stuff. It was a George Benson sound because Robert was the lead player in the band, guitar, and so you get the idea. So we opened. It was great. A lot of applause. They loved us. And then they came on and blew everybody away. Steve Reed and Bamboo Forest. I had that CD and I kept all my CDs, so I assumed I still upstairs. But they totally amazed us. But in the band, you got Kim Stone, the bass player, and Jeff Koshawa. So it blew the crowd watching. Just blew everybody away, like in this relatively small setting, doing Steve Reed's music. They didn't do any Rivens songs. I don't think they were allowed to do any Rivens songs. They probably had a contractual agreement. Russ is like, you're not gonna. You guys all have bands, but you can't go out there and play Rivens songs. And I'm sure that was a deal.
But was it still contemporary jazz, Phil, or was it a different?
Oh yeah. Contemporary jazz, no vocals. There was the one guitar might have sang one song, typical. There was no vocals, all instrumental, contemporary jazz. Yeah, true to the vein, and so I'll carry on with the story. So we did it, and it was great, and the night ended, and Roland said, "Hey, if any of you guys in chemistry, if you want to come back tomorrow and just watch the
show,
matinee, the afternoon show, early matinee show, you can come for free. You walk in and we know Roland." And I had done that on other occasions with Paul Howard's. We opened for Paul Howard's. Here's a segue. We opened for Paul Howard's at the same club. And Paul Howard's at the time was over in Orlando at the Pleasure Island Jazz Club thing, and he was like he was a main rotating guy that was almost like a house band guy. Paul Howard's became the sax player for what I don't remember all the boy bands names, but there was it almost entered my mind for a second, but he became the sax player and went and just left Central Florida entirely. Boys to Men, or it wasn't Boys to Men, but it was the boy bands that came out. Anyway, one of those boy bands. But Paul Howard's at the time was hot as shit in Florida, in Orlando, as a contemporary jazz guy. So we opened for them, and that was super fun. And Drew, the drummer, Drew was his first name. I will not remember his second name. We exchanged phone numbers, and man, I would call Drew like on weekends, half in the bag, and talk to the drummer for Paul Howard's. And man, tons of fun. So we did other things, but so anyway, I digressed. But so we go back Sunday, and I just went back with me and my girlfriend, Kristen, and and it turns out we were the only two that showed up. Tony might have been there, but Leo did not come, and Diana did not come, and Robert did not come. So I only remember I came, and Kristen and I came, and they played. They did their gig. They played. And it was fantastic. So now we're just relaxed, and I'm drinking beer, and we watched it, and it was like a 2 to 4 kind of thing, and on Sunday. And so as I'm telling this, I'm remembering it real time in my mind. I haven't thought about the details, so that's why I'm. If you see me spacing out, I'm just remembering the fucking situation. It was insane, but it gets way better. So, and where were we at? 1 hour 15 minutes. This is going good. So they did their set. It was fantastic. It wasn't as full as Saturday night, but it was plenty full, and they loved it. And so it was over. They ended, and okay, boom, people filed out. We're hanging out with Roland and the sound guy, the soundboard guy, and Roland standing, and boom, they start futzing around, and they don't. The drummer that Roger doesn't have to worry about any of the drums because it's backline. There's something called backline where the instruments are provided by contract. I need a drum set. I need a 6-piece drum set. I need 8 cymbals. I need blah blah blah. And Al Rose provided the backline, the drums. And I know Al, and I was in a band with Al. And so bottom line, Roger just steps away, gets his sticks together in his bag and whatever auxiliary shit he had, and he just steps off the band stage and the stage, and that's all he has to do. He doesn't have to tear down nothing. He doesn't touch nothing. It's all ready. And so boom, and the rest of the guys, they're traveling light at that point, that day with the set, and they pack their shit up. And they go, and they're looking at me and Roland, and they go, where do you party around here? And I look at Roland, and I'm like, Fish. It was Lloyd's back then. Now it's Fish Lips at the Port. And I go, Lloyd's at the Port. And they go, let's go. And so bottom line, Roland and I, and my, whatever the hell I was driving, my Jeep Cherokee, and Roland had a Toyota of some sort. And we said, let's go. So the whole band, 5 guys, Steve Reed and Jeff and Kim and Roger and the guitarist, I cannot remember his name, but he was full on there. It was all 5 of them. We load them into our 2 cars, and Kristen's with me, my car, and boom, off to the Port we go, and we go to Lloyd's, which is now Fish Lips at the Port, and we proceed to throw down and drink like, and they were in this real jovial party mode. They had the night off. They didn't have to be back to Orlando until Monday, so they were really like ready to cut loose. And these guys are from California, and pros, the professional musicians, and in the Rippingtons, and it was so fun. But they're so real, Once you're in that environment and you're getting in your car and it's like daylight, and they go, take us somewhere fun,
right.
Yeah, the banter, and it's just like you just talk to them like, hey man, oh, it's so cool, this was great, and they were just, all 5 of them were just super cool. Some more fun than others. Roger Friend, the drummer, was very loose and like, yeah, and
let's party
and turn up the music. Can you put something else on? Shit like that. Before you had the ability to, nowadays, where you can put anything on.
Right.
You just switch the station, and then the talk on the way over on 528 was the shit, was the fun. And and they're talking and they're talking amongst themselves. They just done a gig, so they're like they're that you know to me as a musician, as a amateur kind of guy, hearing. So to me as a musician, I just want to hear what they're saying.
Right, what they're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I want to hear everything they're saying, and that's how it kind of was. But the radio's on. We cruise over. We get to the port. We get the fish lips, and we get the Lloyd's, and boom, upstairs, and hung out. They're ordering food. They got their own budget, and they're ordering food and pounding beers and drinks. They weren't getting, but I have to say the beer was flowing heavily,
I bet.
generally speaking. And my I had mentioned this on a previous podcast. My most special moment in my music playing career. Turns out Kim Stone smoked cigarettes, and so did I. And I'm like, he gets up, and I know where he's going, and I'm like, I get up, and I'm like, hey Kim, man, and he's like, yeah, and he had probably asked me like, where do you smoke here?
Right.
Follow me. We went over to the deck on the east side of Lloyd's Fish Lips, and it's Kim Stone and I. And Kim Stone is a fucking badass. The whole time he's playing, even with Steve Reed's band, but with the Rips, bohemian, complete bohemian look, style, purple jacket, purple slacks, Doc Martens, the jazz black Doc Martens that I ended up buying a pair of eventually. A beret when he's on stage. He did off stage. He's not wearing the beret, but in glasses. I mean, total bohemian look. Fucking the guy is cool as fucking shit.
And he spent 20 years with the Rippingtons.
Yeah. So we go out on the veranda, if you will. There, the deck, the upstairs deck at Lloyd's. And we light up, and it just gotten dark, and I'm like, Kim, tell me what it's like being a session musician in Los Angeles. And 20 minutes, he was just telling me stories of what it's like, and he told me that was a real cool thing. He said Russ and Rivingtons. Russ owns the rights to all the stuff and gets almost all the royalties.
Oh, really?
So we make money touring with him. We make very little on the records. So and then he'll do his thing. He'll go. I was trying to think of a term, but
tour on their own.
He'll go to his nice estate in Colorado, in Aspen, Colorado, and for a year, and he's writing in the meantime. But we have to go make a living in the meantime. So we basically, he said, we are in all each other's bands. I'm in Steve's band. I'm in Jeff's band. We play in LA constantly. We'll go to Vegas sometimes. We'll come back. I don't remember the specifics, but that was the general thing. We have to keep working while he's writing the next album.
So yeah, I was gonna ask that, Phil. Yeah, so why did all of these guys had like their side businesses, but you just said most of the royalties were owned by Russ, so they had to go out and make a living.
Yeah. Russ owned the publishing rights to all the material because he really wrote the songs. I'm sure he had a lot of help, and some of those band members helped. And they got compensated. I'm not trying to say what they weren't compensated. And Kim never said that. He's like, there's like a year dead time, and we've got to, we've got to, we've got to play and make money. And they're so great, gifted players.
Right, and these are guys that need to play. It's not like they can wait for the composer to write a song. They want to play. They want to have fun, like when they met you in Brevard.
So he's telling me all this, and I'm just like, it was a single coolest moment in my playing career, talking to him for 20 minutes, or I say 20, I just rounded it off. It could have been a half hour. But it was fascinating. It's like, yeah, we do clubs. I was like, did you do the Troubadour? Do you do you do Troubadour? Do you do Whiskey a Go? I was asking questions like that. He's answering them. I don't remember what the answers were. I was like, I knew some stuff about LA, and he was answering, and then he would talk, and bottom line, he said, we keep playing, and that's why we're here tonight.
Were you able to keep in touch with them, any of them, Phil, or not?
No. Oh, but my girlfriend, Kristen, did. Okay. So this is a segue that I told her I was going to tell, and it's all fine and dandy. She's with me. But bottom line, so to wrap that night up, we finish at Lloyd's. We get back in the cars. We're half in the bag, all of us. We go back to their hotel, which is right near the club. Roland set that up where they were going to stay. There was a hotel. There was a motel right by the club, right. And we drive them back, and we go back to the hotel. They had 2 rooms, and we proceeded to hang out with them
the rest of the night.
Yeah, till like 12:30 at night, drinking. On the way back, one of them, Steve Reed, was kind of the big partier in the group, the leader of the group. Steve's like, stop at the 7-Eleven, let's get some beer. So before we get back to the hotel, and sure enough, there's a 7-Eleven there on, I forget what the name of that road is, on US 1 near. We go there, both cars. I don't know if they got out. At least one got out. We go in there and we get like 3 6-packs because we got like 6 people or 7 people, and go back to the hotel. Boom, we're in the room partying like a son of a bitch. Like, woo! They are just like, they were. Wow, this is a flashback. I haven't thought of this. They were really getting like. Really, like, they were just celebrating. They were just like, woo! And at least one of the table in between the beds, or what, like, the table is upside down on one of the beds. They start picking shit up, and when you play like that, and no wonder Rod Stewart and the Faces destroyed hotel rooms. They get back from those gigs, and they're like,
there's adrenaline,
lions untamed. Like, holy shit! I want to pick something up. So it was like that, but nothing got broke, and it was really cool. But definitely things got displaced in the room.
Right. But it was a fun time.
Tons of energy. Everybody. It was just, I haven't thought of that fucking since it happened, but it was tons of fun, all fun. Everybody, nobody's clothes came off, kind of thing. It was super cool. It was super cool. So anyway, so that was it. We left, and Pete, we're gonna bring in Pete. Pete's been patiently waiting. Cool. I'm going to bring him in, and I'm going to bring him. I'm going to add Peter Martin to the stage. But
Peter's ready, waiting for you, Phil.
Peter Martin.
Hi, welcome. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Thank you for having me on again. And
cool
story. I love the stories of chemistry, playing and opening up for the big bands and stuff.
Yeah, and Pete's heard them. Yeah. So long story short, Jorge, you asked, did we stay in touch? So what occurred was that ended, and I wasn't in touch with those guys at all. However, my girlfriend, Kristen, she moved out to Burbank, California, and at least one of them lived out there. She connected back up with them, and I'll just say she became their travel agent. She started like booking flights for them, and she was out in Burbank. And I say Burbank. I was in Burbank. She was in Canoga Park, and so she moved out there for work. We all work. Her and I work for NASA, and she got a job with Rocketdyne. It was Rockwell Rocketdyne initially. It became Boeing Rocketdyne, but she moved out there as an engineer, and she kept in touch, and boom, she was their travel agent, booking flights for them to travel.
Cool
And
side gig.
the next thing I know, she said, "Phil, I'm going to go to Maui, Hawaii, and the Rippingtons are playing at the Maui Jazz Fest."
Oh,
And we stayed in touch, and she would tell me, so I was living vicariously through her, hearing the stories of what they were doing afterwards.
cool.
And yeah, that was the only way I stayed in touch. But the rest, we didn't stay in touch with the individual players. Yeah, but it was fascinating.
Well, Pete,
Yeah.
what you got for us today?
So Pete, let me set it up. I'm sorry, I'm tired of talking. You guys talk for a second. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, certainly. So you asked me to listen to this song, One Summer Night in Brazil, as performed live in LA
Yeah,
by the Rippingtons, right?
yeah.
I do not believe I've ever heard the song before tonight.
Yeah.
You know, the Rippingtons
This is
I'm
awesome.
going to say are they still together?
No, they are not touring. So
Anyway.
it seems that
Were or are a great jazz band.
Yeah.
And so, you asked me, why does the melody of this song
Yeah.
sound so beautiful? That was the question you asked me to answer to listen to this. And then you wanted me to kind of explain it from maybe a music theory perspective
I did.
in layman's terms, right?
I did.
So what's the style of this music again?
contemporary jazz.
Contemporary jazz.
Contemporary jazz, or what was the buzzword? What did we call it?
But contemporary jazz fusion.
But then your guest, is his name Kenny, or is this another person named Mitch? I'm sorry, I did not get the name of your co-host, who's doing such a great job. But Jorge. Okay. Jorge. So Jorge used this word earlier.
Yeah.
Smooth jazz, right? Isn't that what we called it? We called it smooth
Yep,
jazz.
correct.
Like
Yep.
it was a new thing. Yeah, it was
Yep.
contemporary jazz. Yeah, it was sort of a jazz rock fusion. It was more like a contemporary pop jazz, but it had a name, smooth jazz. And the Rippingtons, for at least seems like 10 years, were the king of smooth jazz. They were like the biggest group as far as I could tell.
Pete,
And
we would have a separate discussion on that.
okay. Any rate, so when I listen to the song, Why Is It Beautiful? I made a few observations.
Oh, hey,
First of all,
Pete, I'm going to go out on a limb and just play like a little bit of it so that people have an idea, because they got it.
Yep.
So let me. I'm thinking. So one of the things I did not mention in this whole thing is that all of these artists that we're talking about were on the label GRP, the Gruesome Record Productions, the GRP label. It was the label, and the Rips were on it, and David Benoit, and half of the contemporary jazz guys that we were listening to were all on GRP label. I'm going to go on a limb and say,
Hey, Jason, someone's at the front door.
I'm going to go on a limb and say
Hey,
they're not owned by Sony, but they could be. If they're owned by Sony or
I'm on a
Universal,
live
say
podcast.
something, it'll get
But-
blocked.
I can meet you in there in a little bit. Maybe.
But I'll
I'll
just,
come in. Anyway, I'm interviewed. Sorry, just had an unexpected guest at the front door.
sure. And Pete, it was One Night in Brazil. I'm just going to play on my phone.
Right.
So-
I do have 4 or 5 observations that I think kind of point to your, but let's hear some of it. Yeah.
Tell me when you can hear it.
I can hear it.
So people have an idea. I can't play too much of it, but if Sony bought GRP, then we're fucked. They'll block it. But if it's at the end of the episode, I can clip this off.
Well, so
But hang on.
okay.
And of course, there's magic on the acoustic. The sax. Okay, I'm not going to chance it anymore.
Yeah, don't
But you
risk
get
it.
the idea what it sounds like.
Okay, so
Pete.
Jorge earlier said that it was smooth and that the instruments were blended well together or something like that, which was one of my first observations. Okay, so the song starts out right away with the bass line
Yeah.
playing a semi sort of playing the melody, not exactly. It's almost like it's not quite a counter melody. So we have Russ Freeman on the guitar playing the melody. It's often doubled by Jeff Koshu on the sax, and they're so smooth and tight together you can't even tell it's 2 instruments. And then you've got this amazing bassist, and I'm like, this is an electric fretless bass. No, it's a acoustic double bass he's playing.
Wow.
Okay, there's on this recording you're playing. There's 6 people.
Yeah.
Jeff Koshu on the saxophone, Russ Freeman, of course, who wrote and arranged the song, was the band leader, on the guitar, and he played this guitar that was an electric guitar that kind of sounded like an acoustic. So I don't know if he's actually playing a steel string acoustic, but it sounds a lot like it. And he's an incredible guitarist. I love the way he plays. I couldn't stand his tone back then because it just seemed not characteristic to jazz when he's playing like a steel string acoustic sound. But he is playing it very smoothly. And over the years, I find that way more tasteful today than I did back then. Okay, but anyway, so first is they're phrasing things smoothly.
The phrasing.
They're very well blended together. This is an ensemble. Now the second thing is, okay, the next thing I thought was, well, the chord changes. The chord changes are making the melody more interesting because it's changing it from one mode to another mode. And I'll explain that in a little bit.
Yeah.
And at some point, all of a sudden, after a long period of time, he's soloing out of the major form of the key. And it sounds, oh, wow, it's all of a sudden come together. And that doesn't happen right away. But anyway, but then I'm like, well, the chord changes. I'm like, well, maybe, but it's more like the tonal center of how he's phrasing the lead. And then I'm like, well, there's not much actually going on chord because almost everybody is involved in that melody.
Yeah.
The keyboardist will play some arpeggios, but he's not really playing chords.
Over the
There's
top.
no guitar playing chords.
over the top arpeggio.
Russ is playing the main melody, and then he's the main soloist.
Wow.
And then oftentimes he's doubled exactly by the sax player, or sometimes he's playing harmony. The bassist is blending in with a harmony, and that also varies the rhythm, but it all fits together. It's
Kimson.
really brilliant. But then I'm like, man, I listened to the song like 6 times while I'm preparing and eating dinner. And then I'm like, I got to get my guitar in my hand so I can see what's happening.
Hold on.
Yeah,
So-
I'll pause. I've got more exciting stuff, but I'll pause and let you
For a
guys
second,
talk.
you got more exciting stuff, and you're gonna play some of it. But Jorge, mind you, I called him on the way home from work today, and he goes, "I listened to it 6 times."
6 times, but it's good music, Pete, isn't?
Like 5 o'clock today. Pete, you're awesome. Thank you. I love you, brother.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you have interesting questions. You've got a great show. We just need to get more people in the audience, and we're all kind of new at this. We're musicians, but we're not necessarily professional broadcasters.
Sure.
We're getting there though. But anyway, so then when I pick my instrument up, I'm like, okay, well, he's really just soloing out of E natural minor. And when he goes to the other key, he's going to E major. Now this whole minor to major thing is a really cool thing they do in music. The classical musicians did it first. So here, listen to this. Anybody heard this before? How about Amen, E minor? Now we're gonna do E major.
Like a church or something? I don't know.
Now it's like the bridge before he goes to the major. And
Yeah.
on top of that, since it's jazz, they're playing not just the 3-note triads, but 4-note tetrads. So it's minor 7. They got the flat 7 there. 1, 3, 4, 7. 5, 7. So that's E. So then they're in the E minor like that. And maybe they can put a flat 5 in there. Not really, not with this. Okay, because that would make it not so smooth, poppy contemporary jazz if I put
Right.
that flat 5 in there, maybe. But anyway, so then when they go to the major, they're major 7. So instead of
The major
E minor
major
to E major, like it's E minor 7, which has a flat 7, to E major 7, which we take the third and we make it a major third, and we take the 7 and we make it a major 7. So 2 notes change. Okay, so that's one of the things that's interesting in there. So I mean, but then it's like I picked him up on my guitar and I said, wait a minute.
Yeah. Which is a standard.
Play that over.
That's a standard. Well, I think we played this in demonstration.
Now, what song is that?
It's
Blue Bossa. And who wrote it?
Yeah.
What's the name of the song again?
All jazz bands do some form of blue bossa, and we did too. Robert did.
What is the name of the song we're analyzing? One Summer Night in where?
In Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah.
So Blue Bossa is maybe one of the most famous.
And
Well, I don't know. There's the guy who wrote it. His name's Antonio Jobim.
Jobim.
He also wrote Meditation
Yeah.
and Girl from Ipanema.
So hang on for a
So
second.
these are Brazilian jazz songs. So I listen while the record's on. I played the chord changes to Blue Bossa, and those are the chord changes for until we get to that major section. Then they do a variation.
Okay. Oh, thanks. My gosh. repeat that in a second. But Jorge, Antonio Jobim was this Brazilian, unbelievable, life-changing experience for the jazz form.
Yeah.
We just called him Jobim. It's just
Right.
Jobim. And he was a guitarist, but my goodness gracious, he changed. But Afro-Cuban music was completely changing the landscape of jazz in the late 50s and certainly through the 60s. Completely changed and transformed the United States jazz
Scene, yeah, he's considered father of bossa nova, so no wonder he's a pioneer.
So Antonio Jobim, you'll have to look up Antonio Jobim when you hang up, because he was kind of the father of a lot of this shit, and especially, well, I say the father of it, the father of the Latin jazz influence on all of American music. But go ahead, Pete.
I think at least in this country, he's the most famous Brazilian jazz artist. And I love all of the stuff that I've heard by him, you know.
You should hear Park's speech on Jobim.
Anyway, when I listen to the melody, it's like, well, it doesn't sound like blue bossa in a way, but it is really similar. And a lot of it is how they're articulating the notes. But the other thing is, I started thinking about ambiance. So, yeah, okay. The first thing that had me think of ambiance was not the first song on the recording, because part of why it sounds so beautiful is the ambiance behind it. If you think of like a painting and you've got a big, beautiful background, then the colors come out in the front more. And so when the first thing I heard was a what do you call it? Rim shot on the snare drum with really super cool digital reverb. So we go, and just as that was starting to fade out and you couldn't hear the echo of the crack, you'd hear a really nice chord come in when there weren't really any chords before, and then the melody would start over. That's if you listen to that, you'll hear that at the beginning of the song. And I think that really is, is really cool. And but then it's like, I'm like ambiance. I'm thinking of ambiance because the reverb off the snare drum. And then it's like, well, hello. We've got the tropical sounds of the jungle, or at least some vegetative part of downtown, Brazilian town. And then what's the big city down there?
Sao Paulo.
So anyway, so before the first note plays, you already have beautiful images in your mind of green, lush vegetation and colorful tropical birds. Very beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was a masterful recording. To think that was a live recording is incredible.
We want to hear you play more. Plunk away and play more.
All right, I can play a little bit. It's like,
you gather.
Listen, nobody calls me since I've gotten in the back room. A lady that I've called and texted for the last 2 years and she's never responded calls me on the phone.
All right.
Yeah. And I put you guys on hold. This is before you brought me into the room. And I say, hey, I'm in the waiting room to go on a podcast. I'm trying to convince her to stay on with me. She says, oh, no, I'm sorry. I'll call you. She hangs up. Then my ex-wife calls. Okay, ex-wife. Okay. Then there's another lady that I lost contact with. I hadn't seen in a few weeks. She knocks at my front door. Anyway, so I will play a little bit. I've got an unexpected female guest waiting for me.
Oh my God! So I'll announce it. The show's over, but you can hang out. This is the after party. Pete, this is brilliant. Oh my God, that's so funny. But keep going. We'll hang out all night.
Now, that's how you don't do it smooth. Play out of tune. So it's about being very precise and careful and smooth with each note. That's why his melody sounds so beautiful. Plus all of the other things we talked about. It's an ensemble effort. Together, you've got the keyboardist, the guitarist, and the saxophonist, and sometimes even the bass player together are making that melody happen. And they're seamless. They're very smooth. I'm impressed. I will listen to it some more.
Yeah.
I can't remember their melody though. You know, it's like such a beautiful melody. Well, I don't remember it. I listened to it 6 times. I can't really paraphrase it right now. I can play Blue Bossa though.
Right. Play Blue Bossa for us. We're segueing. We're references. We ripped it. So Pete's a great jazz guitarist, actually. Probably Joe Beam. It is Joe Beam.
That's Blue Bossa. It's also the same chord changes as the first, probably minute and a half of One Night in a Summer Night, one summer night in Brazil.
Gotta go full screen.
And then all of a sudden it's going to the E major 7.
Yeah. E major. So was that a nice result. Nice.
Thank you.
This is great. Three people and 2 of your audience is clapping for you. This is cool. So this is the after party. Anybody can hang out, but yeah. Wow, Pete, man, that is so fucking cool. Was that Joe Beam though? What the one thing
that was Blue Bossa.
Oh, gotcha.
The Blue Bossa is in the key of C minor, and One Summer Night Brazil is in the key of E minor, but it still has the same quality of sound. Minor sounds minor, major sounds major. That you have a bunch of other sounds too. Right? You can do the Phrygian sound. Now at the end of this, Russ Freeman does a cadenza, basically on the guitar. It's incredible. He's going in and out of different things. He's playing the minor. A cadenza is like, okay, a cadenza is like one instrument going off and varying the tempo.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, Russ Freeman does something. He goes like sometimes he's playing the blues scale.
Mm-hmm.
And other times he's doing something like, it sounds like classical guitar almost. It's like he's going, doing the or whatever. I mean, I hear in a period of about 15 seconds, he does 4 different qualities of sound in his lead.
Wow.
They're masterfully woven together. It really is incredible because, like I said, I hear like a minor sound, I hear a major sound, I hear the blues sound, and I hear classical guitar influence.
He's mellow.
All in his little end riff at the end of the song.
Yeah. Wow.
So that'd be worth studying some more as far as I'm concerned, myself as a guitarist.
Right. It was quite an assignment there to try to. I was just like, what makes it so beautiful? But Jorge, what is your takeaway from what Pete's done here?
Well, definitely being able to explain the theory behind the music.
I don't think I can't hear him.
You can't hear me? You can or you can?
I'm open. Maybe 10.
Can you hear me, Phil?
I can hear you fine.
I think
Oh, I
it's
couldn't
great
hear
stuff.
anything he said.
It's
But
good.
anyway,
But you can hear me, Phil, right?
I
You
can't
can-
hear
once you-
anything that Jorge's saying right now.
The people can hear what Jorge
Okay.
said, but
Right. Yeah, I think overall it was great stuff. Definitely the melody, like he said, like all the instruments blending in it. I think it's super nice how it sounds. It's music that, as I said, it's for any mood, and it's so smooth, so good to listen at any mood. I think I really enjoyed it, and definitely explaining how Pete did makes you understand how many instruments have to be played at the same chords, melodies, and I think it was fantastic at his description and what he explained to us.
hey, I have an observation. With the Live in LA recording, he introduces. He said, "Hey, folks," like in the middle of the thing, he goes, "Hey, folks, I'm gonna introduce the band," and everybody goes nuts. And the first three people he introduces, I don't realize they're even there, and it's a horn section. So he has a trumpet player, a trombone player, and a sax player, and I don't. You would have to have a stereo. You would have to have a stereo system that could really. And I know somebody that has one of these, but I've never been invited, and it's an acquaintance, and Brooks' vocal coach. I can't remember his first name. He had a stereo like from unbelievable, and this guy was great. But you have to have a stereo like that to even hear the horns.
Well,
suffice to say, I don't.
I
have,
thought I was listening to the same recording you were, and I looked at the credits, and I didn't see any sax player other than Jeff Koshua, and I didn't see any trumpet or trombone on there, and I didn't hear any of those instruments on this recording. But there might be multiple recordings, or maybe they were there live and they didn't make the edit because,
Yeah.
even when they do a live recording, they still mix it down in the studio.
They're there basically in the middle of the show in Live in LA. Russ goes, "Hey, I'm going to introduce the band." Everybody goes nuts. And
Right.
the three people he introduces are the horn section.
Or
And,
those people just maybe didn't play on that particular song. They played on other songs in the concert. I don't know. But I hate to do this as a guest, but I'm wondering if I can bow out early.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I got somebody waiting for me.
It's kind of gotcha. Hey.
And I wish I could have heard what Jorge said, so I'll listen later and hopefully I can hear the recording and I can get his feedback. So that 'cause I can hear Phil, but I can't hear Jorge right now.
Thanks,
Jorge,
Pete. Appreciate it.
Jorge, it turns out Pete's got a hot date.
Yeah.
Pete, you're
Unexpected.
all right, brother. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
This was the funnest
Thanks,
one
Pete.
yet. So
It
all right.
was. It
we'll
really
see you
was.
again soon. Take care. Rock on.
Thanks.
Or smooth jazz on.
Yeah. All right. Wow.
Hey, Phil, almost 2 hours. Great episode.
Yeah, and we've I don't know if you probably hadn't hung out like afterwards because I last probably 5 or so we kind of go, hey, this is the end, and if anybody wants to hang on, and you're welcome to, but we're just gonna start talking and oftentimes if you went back and checked some of that out, it's probably some of the really cool stuff because you really get into the nitty gritty or whatever the hell you're doing. So what the hell are you doing this weekend? You don't even know.
Good question. I think I may play tennis and rest a little bit. What about you?
Tennis, cool. I did a bout of tennis back in my 2004 time frame. I was playing tennis, but Oh, this weekend. And and those are the kind of things I like in the section I wanted to cover. Who's playing this weekend? And the best one I picked out was Jorge. Check it out. There's a band called the Rios Rock Band, and they're
What are they
playing.
playing?
They're playing at Lou's Blues on A1A in Melbourne Saturday at 9 o'clock, and I'm going to be there. So, but the Rios Rock Band, I'm telling you, they're super fucking cool. I saw them once, and I talked to the guys, and they're friends with Carolyn and Dawn Patrol, and it's going to be fun. It's in Melbourne on A1A, like it's just south of O'Galley Causeway on A1A on the left. It's a famous place. It's quite famous in a sense. It's been there for a long fucking time, and I've been down there and saw fans over the years, and Dave Feaster's from the Groove Monsters.
Right there.
Dave Feaster's Dave Feaster passed away years ago from the Groove Monsters, and they had his tribute thing at Lou's Blues. I think that was the last time I was there, and Pete was with me. God, I was like 14 years ago or some shit. But so I want to go back just to see the place again. But the Rios Rock Band, it's gonna be super fun. Saturday, 9 o'clock p.m.
Cool. Well, Phil, it was a fun episode. Happy to join in next later in the future, and
Thanks for doing this.
let's see what's episode 34. You have an idea?
You know what? Strangely, I don't, because here's the news, and I posted on Facebook. I don't, because episode 35 is Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin. And Jorge, there's two bands. My two favorite bands on the planet are Led Zeppelin and the Beatles. And so we came up with the concept of for episode 25 and like 50 and like anniversary, like you should do like do something big.
Right.
And so I'm finally getting around to Zeppelin, and it's going to be 35. And oh my gosh, 2 weeks from now.
We gotta brainstorm episode 34 then.
So 34, it's a blank slate, and I haven't even thought about it because I was jazzed about this, and yeah. But this is a great medium to, like, hey, like families, they should like get this. We should subscribe to StreamYard just to like FaceTime each other.
Right. Yeah.
Great platform.
Yeah.
Oh, man, thanks for doing this, dude. You're awesome.
No,
You really are.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward for our next episode. I can volunteer as a producer so that Will and you can take care of the live. I'll just run the back end.
That son of a bitch is so busy. He's busy.
He can do it. He can still afford it. He's young.
I know. You can squeak out, dude. You can squeak out an hour. You can squeak out 2 hours to do this, and really, he can bug out early, and just like, dude, get it going. But but bottom line, he's seeing a show tonight in Tampa with Braden, and I am not. So
they're having a good time. Yeah, it's time for us to go to bed.
It is. We'll save this for tomorrow. I'll tell you about that show coming up in September. My son's coming down, and we're going to St. Petersburg, and we're going to see Turnstile headline. And I got a hotel room over there in St. Pete. And my son's 40. He's way older than you are.
Not that much, just 8 years.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
You guys relative age.
Right.
If I lined you up and Joey up and Will up and Braden up, Braden you would think is like the youngest, right? You just
Braden and Will are the youngest, then Joey and me.
yeah. But collectively between you and Joey, I would just think like they're 30.
He turned 29.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Super cool. But yeah.
Well, have fun in St. Petersburg, Phil. I had fun in this episode, and let's see if there's a new for episode next time. I'll be happy to join you.
So that could happen again because Will's busy. But Jorge, originally this whole podcast, I had in mind my friend Joe Gretzky from Sanford, and I was like, Joe, I'm gonna do a podcast, and I want you to be the co-host.
Co-host, yeah.
And his mom's 90, and he's helping take care of her. Right. And he said, Phil, I can't do it right now. So I when I realized that I'm at work, I look over at Will. I'm like, Will, we have music in comments, music in common. And I took him to a show in Sanford, and then he took me to that's how it all started. I took him to a show in Sanford, and he took me to Pierce the Veil. And I'm like, holy shit, this is Pierce the Veil was like so it just totally blew my mind. And I said, well, you got to be the co-host. And he's like, yeah, I'm in. That's all.
I think Will is definitely a natural with this kind of stuff. He does it very well. That's why I'm saying I can produce and work comments and all that stuff and let Will take care of talking with you on the front lines.
Cool. All right. I'm getting the vibe here. Cool. Well, Jorge, thank you again.
You're welcome. Have a good night, and I enjoyed it.
So hang on until it signs off. I think there's like a little a confetti can that goes on. Here. Okay, I gotta shrink that down, and then and then you gotta find and what's in. You'll get a kick out of this, Jorge. There's a button that says end stream. It's a red button up to the right top. So it's very obvious. You hit it, but it doesn't end until you hit the bottom one.
Okay.
So it's like so 4 or something. I hit the first one, and I just assumed the show was over, and I walked away. It ran 10 hours with the black. It's just all black because I turned lights out. It was
right. That's crazy.
And the next day, I'm like, 10 hours. What happened?
Well, make sure to hit on those 2 buttons today.
Okay, here's the second one. Brother, thank you.
Have fun. Good night. Thank you.